live stream that we're doing
Oh,
on
yes,
February
yes,
1st.
yes, yes.
We'll be talking more about the full moon.
But for those who are in my side of the world, it is the 2nd of February. And for those of you who are in the States and the UK, it is the 1st of February. And we'll be doing a live stream. And let's see, maybe just throwing this out there, maybe our channel or do some live readings, and let's just see how that goes, because
Yeah, it'll be
maybe
good.
the Council of Eight have some information on the energy that's coming through and where we're at. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you, Lauren. I love our time together, and I love how you share what's going on with the planets, because the planets most definitely have been kind of going woo, let's like kind of like woo, let's duel, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll tap into the full moon soon, but tell us what's been going on with you, and then
Oh,
then
okay.
okay, does it, am I making sense right now? Because I feel like I'm
Yeah, that
speaking
makes
code.
sense. No, that makes sense. Uh,
Gosh.
so, all right. So, from last time we recorded, I did mention that I wanted to start a journal, and I did, and I'm very glad that I did,
Amazing.
because this cycle so far has been crazy for me. I've had a lot of health issues. I've had multiple migraines, which have been horrible. I would say it started right as the full moon was happening. Now, the new moon. The new moon was in Capricorn. It was in my first house. It was close. It wasn't conjunct my ascendant right next to it, but it was close to it. So the first house is myself, is in Capricorn. I just lost my train of thought, but yes. So it was myself, how myself to the world, how I view myself, but it was me. It was me. So health issues, my head hurting, migraines, being forced to go down and take time off. I feel that it happened because it was asking me to slow down. It was asking me to focus more on myself and not be so out there, be more in here. And then and then I also had some issues with food. And yeah, and I was talking to you, Michelle, and you were telling me, purging. So I would say yes. And that could be from when I had my migraines, going down, recharging, and then just having to get rid of some things in my life. I would say more emotionally, though, and energetically.
Yeah.
So that's what's been going on.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing. So it's not to take away from the fact that we might eat something that doesn't sit well with us, and then we've obviously got to get it out of our system. Yet, energetically, emotionally, when we're going through a purging, remember everything happens out there and we bring it in, whether that be the food that doesn't taste well, doesn't sit well with us, having the headaches, the migraines. I can relate. I used to, when I was in my 20s and my teens, I used to have migraines. So I know they are intense. They just, it's just you want the world to be out there. But it's like, what's going on? What are you overthinking? What energetically have you brought in? And sometimes it might just be the chaos. It might just be the chaos of overthinking. It might be the chaos of emotionally, like what are you needing to let go of? And and in my learning, intergenerationally, we bring those patterns, those emotions into our DNA, and we're still in the year of the snake, so we're purging. And I've had quite a few clients,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's why I asked Lauren to share, was because I've had quite a few clients where it has been a lot of purging. When we're angry, a lot of us stifle things. We bite down, which just, if you look at my body, and what are you doing with those emotions? So I always recommend go and stomp them out. The learning is to not do it to somebody else, to not scream it out to somebody else, but punch a pillow for 2 minutes, scream into a pillow, and you'll be amazed as to how that's a sense of and a way of getting out of the it's getting out the old, because we're not wanting to sit with the old.
Right. Yeah.
So does that resonate, Lauren?
Yeah, that does. Another word I guess I would use would be shedding, for, the year of the snake, shedding our skin and
Yeah.
coming to the very end of it.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to shed the skin
Yeah.
to begin anew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that those last 2 weeks, I definitely was doing that because it was intense. And it was like one after the other after the other. It just kept going. And I'm like, okay, well, I thought, we were done with the migraines and feeling not
Yeah.
well, but
Yeah.
I feel much better today.
That's great to hear. And the intenseness is exactly that. Like, what are we feeling? And if you just think about it, often our heads and our bodies, even though they're connected, they're so disconnected in so many different ways. So tell us about the full moon that's up and coming.
All right, so on the screen here, I obviously have the moon and the charts. So the full moon is in Leo, 13 degrees, and it's sitting across from the Sun, Mars, Venus, and Mercury. And Pluto, excuse me. Pluto's here next to Mars. Right away, Pluto next to Mars, opposite this full moon, is intense. It is aggression. It's anger. It is, we could say, shedding new skin, shedding old skins, transforming self, but it's action. Mars and Pluto together is this explosive action. It's big. It's big, active, and it can have a lot of aggression with it. On a personal level, you could be shedding energies, old skins, old beliefs, I'm going to say beliefs because the sun is in Aquarius and the moon is in Leo. So it could be beliefs about yourself, beliefs about others, beliefs of how you feel your actions and contributions are to the world or even to yourself. And depending on what house it's in, and I don't think I've ever said this, depending on what house it is in your own personal chart, it's going to make a difference of how it's affecting you. So if it's in your first house, like this in your moon was, it's going to affect you personally, the self personally. And I feel that it could be more emotional when it's in the first house affecting you. In the second house, your values, your money. Third house, communication. Fourth, your home, your personal, more private areas, and so forth. The next thing that we do together, I'll make sure I put what each house means on the side of the screen here. So again, if it's it's in the 10th house, it could be something with career, how you feel towards the career, how you see yourself in the spotlight of life. And the 12th house is the mind and the unseen things, dreams. So the sun is in Aquarius. It is the group versus the self or the ego. Rulers on a more of a geopolitical bigger stage. It would have to do with governments, leaders, rulers of countries towards the people of the countries. Remember, what's going on the macro is going on in the micro. So if we're having issues with authority and rulership and leaders, that's going to be seen, on a world stage. And we can see that. We've had talks of World War III and all this other stuff. I feel that under this full moon, especially also because there's an eclipse that's occurring on the next new moon on the 17th. Actually, I didn't even think of this. With this full moon in Leo, it's the governments, it's the leaders, it's us, how we rule our lives across from the sun, Mars, Pluto in Aquarius. It's the old way, the old rulings of how systems are in our lives in the world versus this new way of inclusiveness, of including everybody, taking care of everybody, transforming the ways of how we are in this world, in our personal lives and our, in the world stage here. Very transformative new moon. And I just had lost my train of thought. This moon, that the moon is opposite from Mars, from Pluto. It's in Leo, and those two are in Aquarius. We will likely have some more loud news, loud headlines coming in about, this country wants to go to war with this country, or this country is trying to overthrow this other country. A lot of shocking news headlines. I would say we're going to start seeing more so. We've seen it the last 2 weeks, but it's going to be like getting louder, getting more. And during this time between now, this new moon, and 2 weeks after the new moon, will likely be a period of when there's action in the world that's occurring. And that could be fires as well, with the Chinese Lunar New Year coming up in the fire horse. Fire events will likely take precedence as well. That's what I have.
I love your sharing because it's it's great because everything you're sharing, and we're going, this full moon is called the wolf moon. So it's tapping in again to the energy and the feelings of the shadow self. Now, most of us don't want to work with the shadow because it's just easier to not acknowledge that we have a shadow self. It's easy to point fingers at others. It's easy to say, well, they're this or they're that. And for me, we've played every part. For me, we can be every emotion. But what's interesting is when you're chatting, I'm like, oh, hang on, what is this moon about? Okay, because it's about survival, instinct. So limbic brain, when we go into survival, fight, flight, fright. And are we learning to navigate that we don't have to be in that way? But when we're in survival, I always say to any of my clients, you never know what you're going to get. You just don't. Some of us can go into freeze where we don't have our voices. Some of us can be like, blah, just bring it. And as you were chatting, I chuckled because my daughter left home this morning and she phoned me and she says, Mom, if you see the neighbor across the road, he might not be really nice to you. And I said, okay, what happened? Now we've got like a blind corner here, and we live up on a street where you've got to find either one person needs to reverse if somebody's coming up. But let's just say she wasn't very kind because he was motoring up and her window was half open and she called him a blip, 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 wit. And I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting enough. Yep, survival, okay. So instinctively, not the best way to address things, but it really is taking that moment to go, okay, I'm in survival. What can I do? How can I balance my limbic brain? Pull on your earlobes, okay? Not my sorry, I'm going to say that again. How can I balance and go into my parasympathetic as opposed to being in sympathetic? So just pull on your earlobes. We want to work with a lot with the vagus nerve. Yeah, if you just push into your ears and take a few breaths. Breathe, okay? Community bonds. So even in survival, there's community bonds. When we go into fight, we can very quickly, we can be in that community of like, okay, let's make this happen. It brings a bond.
Yes.
And calling out across distances. So it's so interesting. It's about the inner strength. This full moon is about your inner strength and your truth. What is your truth? So again, just it's really leaning in to who you are and what feels good. It's so instinctive to want to go into fight, flight, fright. And it really is, again, working with our shadow self. So when we dive deep, it's like, oh, what feels uncomfortable? What are we hearing that we don't like? And I know I'm across the world in a small little island, but I hear all the time in America how things are just batshit crazy.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I would, okay, let me rephrase that. It depends on where you are in the United States, because some places, you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere or somewhere that's very more remote and quiet, and you're not going to see the craziness so much.
Yeah.
I would say it's, more in places that are more crowded will likely have more of the crazy noises. But I think as an overall energy in general, the United States is feeling like this, I don't know, I guess the shedding of the snake, we can say, it's getting tired, getting annoyed, getting frustrated, growing out of what it has been doing for so long. And, that time, it's that rebirthing, that starting new cycles. Starting something new, starting new cycles of this country. But that, I feel, is also going into every country coming up, starting a new cycle, especially with that Saturn and Neptune that's coming up. February the 20th.
Are you laughing because it's like, woo, woo, we don't know what's coming, or you're laughing because it's like, woo, we don't know what's coming. I feel that was kind of like,
I think a little
if
bit of
only we
both.
know.
I think it's a little bit of both. But yeah, it's big. It's, big energies that we're all dealing with. Yeah, big energies. And yeah, big energies. That's all I can say.
I feel like it's for me personally, it's really working with our heart and working with our solar plexus energy. So, grounding would be really important. And social media plays its part. I mean, we're here, Laura and I are here on social media. And I say to anybody, lean into what makes you feel good. Personally, if I'm watching stuff that doesn't make me feel good, I know there's suffering in the world. I mean, working with grief, working with trauma, we've all carrying something in some way, and we know grief and we know suffering. Yet I have a choice. I have a choice to say, well, people might say, well, you're putting your head in the sand, Michelle. You don't want to, learn what's going on out there. Well, I don't need to know. That's just me. If it doesn't uplift me and makes me feel good, what's the point? I have a choice in that moment. And whatever I need to hear will come to me. So again, clients of mine in the States will say, oh, this is what's happening. I'll say, wow. And then I'll reflect with them. How does it make you feel? Like, let's bring you back into here. And it's a lot of explosive. I just see it in our small little town where all of a sudden it's quiet, but it's just the weirdest thing when there's something energetically where the planets are doing what they're doing. All of a sudden there's ambulances and fires. You talk about fires. We've had 2 fires in the last week. Crazy, just crazy. Yeah. It might sound logical to a lot of you watching us and just going, yeah, well, fires happen in restaurants or whatever. But no, just like it's rapid. So shedding. And you know what, Lauren, what I love is how astrology is so on point. I highly recommend you guys get a reading with Lauren, because when it's so immersive and integrative. And I remember going to Egypt last year and I'd had a reading, and this person that was doing the reading had shared something with me in my partnerships, and it was so on point. It was like, so I had that, when we have readings, it's like just you hold the information, it's here. And it happened. Everything that was in partnerships and relationships happened.
That's
even
great.
If I tried to stop it, it was so meant to be. It was like, okay, let it go, accept it. So highly recommend, get a personal reading with Lauren. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So anything else that we need to know about this full moon?
Yes. Uranus is retrograde right now. It goes direct. It moves forward on February the 3rd. This is 2 days after this full moon, but during this full moon, it will be slowing down. It's like, it goes forward, it slows down a lot before it turns directions and moves backwards and vice versa. So it's at a critical period that what is happening during this time period now, especially during the new moon and the eclipse, will likely repeat itself because it's moving backwards. So whatever situation, and I'm talking situations in life, in the world, and they're going to be sudden, explosive situations that happen, will likely come to be resolved within the next couple of months. And again, this will be depending on where Uranus is in your chart. But yeah, as I would say, this moon definitely explosive situations, whether it's ending something or starting something. With a full moon, it's like things are ending, but because of the energies that we're in are so chaotic and there's so much going on, it could be showing that we're starting something new, but it's really ending something else in our lives. I feel like everything is so interchangeable and different. I feel like everything is the feeling of things, how situations happen, what happens is different. And I don't really have any other words to describe it, but I feel like things are happening in such a different way that they have not happened before. And I'm talking about in personal life, in the world itself, but things are just happening at such a different rate and pace. I went to eat an apple, but the apple was, I don't know, it's just different. Maybe the composition of it's different, or the taste of it, or the smell of it, whatever it is just, I feel like things are evolving and moving at just a different rate. And it's something that we're have to continue to get used to. And then energetically, I would say, really energetically.
That is just crazy because what you're saying once again is like, oh my God. Um, not in the bad way, by the way, but it's like I have just gone off coffee. I have drank good coffee. I'm a snob when it comes to coffee. I do not drink instant coffee. Do you know that I'm still trying to, it's my normal routine. Wake up in the morning, have water, and go and have a cup of coffee. I'm trying to force myself to like coffee at the moment. It's
Wow.
crazy.
So you're
I
not
have
liking
just
coffee.
not
Wow.
at all. My taste buds, something when I went into the beginning of this year, it just changed. It flipped. And I'm
Wow.
still trying to force coffee. I've got here, okay, just letting you all know that. And I'm like, no, every time I go to my coffee machine, I'm like, I just love you, coffee. I love the smell of coffee, but it's so
The
heightened.
taste.
The taste has changed for me. It is ridiculous. And I'm so
That's
still
interesting.
not accepting it. It's
Well, that's
so,
a perfect
so
example.
like I'm still
That's a perfect
believing
example.
that it's this, I'm still believing that it's that, and so I love what you just shared about the apple. I was like,
That
oh
is,
my goodness.
yeah, that's a perfect
So
example.
it's incredible though, is that it's it is, it's just me being resistant. I know that. And it's a true learning to come into acceptance, because when we're working through these differences, when we're upgrading, when we're aligning, it's really tuning into what's good for our bodies. Every time I'm like, it just doesn't smell the same, damn it. No, 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 okay, if
Oh,
I taste it, it's going to taste. Lauren, and
no.
honestly, this is like a lifelong love of,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like from my
Coffee.
20s of coffee. So it's fascinating what you've said. So it's just like,
Time to let go.
I'm going to have a little temper tantrum. Like, and let me tell you, I've tried. I've blessed the coffee beans. I've bought new coffee beans, different coffee beans. No, it's just like, time out, Michelle.
It's
We're
over.
having a pause. We're having a break. So it's
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 time to
interesting
move
that
on.
so just tell me, because I heard the apple part, but what is it? Which is the planets that are changing, that are bringing different?
Okay, I feel that it is the Saturn and Neptune,
Said
especially Neptune. Well, I'm gonna say both of them. Okay, so Neptune will kind of brings to the surface the things that we don't see, we don't realize, or we want to we pretend that it's okay, like your coffee. Like you're pretending that you like the coffee, you like the taste of the coffee. That's the Neptune, and the Saturn comes along and is like, no, you actually, for whatever reason, your taste buds are changed. It's different. It's time to let it go. It brings the
isn't
reality check to the
got
world.
you.
Neptune moving into Aries, it's the self. What is good for me? How I improve myself? What is not working for me? What is not good for me? Being
Mm.
truthful with yourself, even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be. Yeah.
Isn't
It's
it
like ripping off that
fascinating how
band
we,
aid and just being like, ouch. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And it's I mean, I started drinking what we call as South Africans rooibos tea, which is red bush tea, and with a bit of honey, and it feels so soothing for me in the morning. But I'm
Mm.
kind of like this naughty little
You
kid. I'm
want the
like, okay,
coffee?
coffee machine. Yeah, like 2 hours later, okay, I'll just try this. I'll try you one more
Yeah.
time, so yeah, it's accepting. And what's fascinating is that I'm busy watching I'm learning more about anatomy at the moment, and there's this beautiful, I would say, and it's not an app, but it's on Instagram, where it's AI, and they show you exactly what everything does, down to the nitty gritty of what our cells do, and then this woman's voicing it in the background. And our body is so incredibly wise, but our smell has got everything to do with our taste. And I didn't know that, but there's something that affects it, our smell affects our taste buds. And I could be getting this information wrong, I hope not, but my smell used to be so heightened, And whether that's because I'm intuitive, I don't know, but it used to drive my husband mad because I would smell anything, like anything, at 100,000 times more, and they'd be like,
Okay.
an hour later, like, what? I'm like, didn't you smell that? Like, didn't you smell that? It's awful, like a bloodhound, seriously. And something structurally has changed for me, and I'd love to know what's happened in my chart. But I love the sharing of our information once again, because emotionally there's this resistance in me, and I keep pushing. It's like, how many times you want to bump your head? How many times? Seriously, it's ridiculous. Eh? We are just funny as human beings.
We are. We are.
Acceptance is so easy. It's so simple when you
It is,
surrender.
but yet it's so hard at the same time.
but but just one more time, just one more cup, because that's going
Yeah.
to make the difference. No,
Yeah.
it's
It's going to
not.
change it now.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, very interesting.
Hmm.
So any last sharings, Lauren, about this full moon?
Not at the moment. We do have a live stream that we're doing
Oh,
on
yes,
February
yes,
1st.
yes, yes.
We'll be talking more about the full moon. Yeah. So for now, I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah. So for
Maybe
you
on
that are
February 1st, I'll have
wanting,
more to say.
beautiful. So for you that are wanting full dates and times, we'll put this at the bottom of both of our YouTube channels. But for those who are in my side of the world, it is the 2nd of February. And for those of you who are in the States and the UK, it is the 1st of February. And we'll be doing a live stream. And let's see, maybe just throwing this out there, maybe our channel, or do some live readings, and let's just see how that goes, because the Council of Eight have some information on the energy that's coming through and where we're at. But yeah, guys, looking forward to seeing you again. And thank you, Lauren, for sharing. I keep getting fixated on that February the 11th Mercury shadow at 5:14 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me about that. Mercury is going retrograde on the 26th of February, and it goes into its shadow on the 11th. What the shadow is, it is the degrees that Mercury will travel back over as it's moving backwards in the sky retrograde. So that starts on the 11th. During this time, things start to get a little bit more chaotic, but it's not an in your face chaotic. It's like in the background. It's building and it's building and building until one day you're like, what the heck is going on with my life? Why does everything feel like it's falling apart? That's the shadow of it. It's just, it's uncovering the places that you're going to have to go back and work on, redo, go over, restart, whatever it is. Yeah. I want to say reduce, reuse, recycle, but that's not it. It's just redo, go over, are the RE words. So yeah, that's the
Well,
11th.
that's what's fascinating about us as humans, is because, like I say, it's like we bump our heads and bump our heads, and often it's about us waking up to ourselves to find the inner peace. And we do not have to
Definitely.
we don't have to torment ourselves. Yet, it's sharing openly that I'm kind of tormenting myself, but not accepting the peace of, okay, well, this is how it is for now. And for those of you who don't know, please watch Walk for Peace, the monks who are walking across America, if you haven't heard about them. Their story is so touching. They are just sharing this, I think it's like 2,400 miles that they're walking across to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
They're walking in the snow at the
That's
moment.
pretty awesome.
It just touches my heart how they keep talking about compassion, forgiveness, and it's literally called Walk for Peace if you want to go and see it. And their sharings are just remarkable. They keep talking about mindfulness coming back into ourselves. So the world can be crazy out there. We know this, but we can find the calm within. And yeah, I look forward to joining you guys live in the next few days. So Lauren, thank you for being here, for sharing your incredible wisdom, and sharing what the planets are about to bring forth, because they definitely know the energies. And
They do.
I'll see you in the next few days, guys. And please like and subscribe. I always forget to ask that, and it's part of just receiving from all of you. So thank you, Lauren. Alrighty. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Take care. See
Bye,
you
guys.
soon. Bye.